will be protected by God.
And welcome back to Atreyu News. Look what ISIS, or Antifa, or Black Lives Matter, whatever, is chanting right now in Berkeley. Look at these communist fools. Action equals life. Berkeley freaks having a freak parade chanting no borders. These people are out of their damn minds.
Deportation, no borders, no nations, stop deportation.
Now looking at this picture, we see individual cells. And the reason why I bring this up is because the left, the communists, the satanic army that wish to destroy Western civilization want no borders. But what would happen if our human cells had no walls on them? Well, we would cease to exist, wouldn't we? Now we see the plot. And for people who don't think this matters on a grander scale, look at this. Now here we have an atom with one proton and one electron that goes around it. Now we see that it definitely has its own border, its own substance, its own purpose. If the borders or the magnetic force that keeps them apart were cease to exist, so would the atom, and so would all life here on Earth. Now we look at even a grander scale. Now when we look at astrology, we see the moon corresponds to the Earth, much like an electron around the proton of an atom. We are directly correlated all the way to the vastness of space, all the way down to the molecular structure of our countries, our towns, our human bodies. We are all connected, of what is all the way to planetary alignment, the direct ratio, and everything has its own wall and its own place. Now we see what the Communist Army would seek to destroy humanity by getting rid of natural law. Now having said that, let's take a look at what the abominations, the people that would go against God's will and natural law, are up to just on this one day, September 23rd. Here we see Black Lives Matter blocking roads, Antifa fighting with police, and causing violence. Let's take a look.
You are the violent ones! You fucking piece of shit criminal! Everybody down! Fucking murderers! Murderers! Fucking murderers! Look at your back! Look at your eyes! Your people need you! Your people need you! I'm white, I'm saying it!
There are white people as well as a number of other different races on hand. Hundreds of people out here right now. At this point right now, the protesters are just holding up signs as cars head down Broadway towards Busch Stadium. We're here at the intersection of Broadway and Market in downtown St. Louis.
Ladies and gentlemen, raise your hands in the back if you can hear me. Cool. We are going to give out the jail support number.
There are several people who are actually heading towards where the concert is. Right now, Wes, the organizer, is giving out the jail support number.
Now, do you notice anything strange about what they're doing about blocking the traffic? But do you find anything strange about the demographic in which the movement is designed around? The movement, Black Lives Matter. Yet most of the people there are white. The leader of the march is white. Black people kill each other in the street. No marches, none whatsoever. But anything against Western civilization can be rubber stamped with the Black Lives Matter communist fist being pumped in the air. Guaranteed most of these people don't believe in God. Because if they did, it would be drawn towards the light. That's the difference between the soldiers of the light and the ones for darkness. The soldiers of the light, we feel the pull from every corner of the earth. These people just want to be included because their own lives are so pathetic. They have no direction, no vision, no will. So I just find that quite funny. So many people could get behind a movement that, at its heart, hates them. Just in, Milo refuses to stand down. Get ready, Berkeley. Berkeley really has been a target for free speech advocates. That's funny. The more they fight, the more we want to talk at their establishment. To prove to the whole world that the left is violent and satanic. Of course, we have so much evidence at this point, I suppose there's no denying it. In any case, despite event organizers calling Free Speech Week at Berkeley, Milo Yiannopoulos, he's throwing a rally there regardless. Milo says he is planning to hold a rally Sunday at UC Berkeley after a student group pulls out of event. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
Sorry. Hi. It's been that kind of day. We're holding an emergency press conference today for two reasons. The first is that, unfortunately, I was somewhat blindsided by an announcement from the Berkeley Patriot this morning. They have informed the administration that they are withdrawing their sponsorship from Berkeley Free Speech Week. That means, of course, we are unable to host an official UC Berkeley speaking event. So we're going to host an unofficial one. I'll give you more information about that in a second. The second reason that we're here in this delightful hotel room, a mystery location in California, is that the venue we were supposed to hold our regular press conference with all the media there for a Q&A and college Republicans and all the rest of it has withdrawn. It has broken its contract with us. So they are refusing to host us this afternoon. They informed the police they would not allow us on site. These are just some of the things, a daily reality of being a conservative in America today, precisely the reason that we started free speech in the first place. I have a statement to read out, and I'm joined by two of my headline speakers who are going to explain what is going to be happening this week. The top line of this is, although we have lost our student sponsorship, and we're very disappointed by that, I'm very personally irritated by it, but I do understand that these students have been bullied, cajoled, manipulated, and intimidated by UC Berkeley in ways you'll hear about in a moment. Although we have lost that, we are not going to be deterred. We will not be deterred. We will not be turned away. We will not allow an entire branch of American public life to simply give in, to simply be overrun by the progressive element, and to have conservatives run off the most important forum for public thought in America today. UC Berkeley hypocritically named this academic year its Year of Free Speech, which is something you'd only do if you had a really serious PR problem. And they do, and the PR problem today is going to be worse. And the fault for that lies squarely on UC Berkeley's shoulders and nobody else's. And you'll know that from the letter that the Berkeley Patriot sent this morning to UC Berkeley, in which they lay out in devastating detail the offenses committed against them by the UC Berkeley administration.
Well, well, well. Look who it is, our favorite person. The Republican, well, I should say, the Democrat posing as a Republican, John McCain. Look what we just found. John McCain blasts Obamacare and calls it an exercise of sleaze. Now he obstructs an attempt to repeal and replace. Let's take a look.
Was the sleaziest process I have ever seen in my years as a United States Senator. The Cornhusker kickback, the Louisiana Purchase, taking lobbyists into the Blair House and bludgeoning them into supporting Obamacare. No wonder the American people were sick and tired of that. That wasn't what the kind of government Obama promised the American people. That was an exercise in sleaze.
Now, I suppose that might have sounded good if he was genuine, but obviously the whole thing was complete BS, because when it came to actually repeal the health care, we all remember what happened.
Mr. Peters. Mr. Portman.
Now, I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with Star Wars, but the person in this picture, he became the Emperor through the power struggle of deception. This man right here played both sides of a gigantic galactic war. He played the left against the right, even though he was in the control of all of it the entire time. And my correlation to John McCain is this. What if John McCain is actually the leader of the Democratic Party? That might sound far-fetched, but look at the actions in which he has done. He might as well put a D next to his name for the way he acts and the things he says. He's a globalist who stands in the way of Trump's agenda, first and foremost. So I found that interesting, the correlation. What if he really is the leader?